Thank you for being here, listening to the presentation of the current situation and the building up of the ecosystem in Italy. This is my academic affiliation, but I'm actually here on the behalf of the Ministry of University and Research. And currently, the two major ministries which are involved in the drafting of the Italian strategic plan in quantum technologies are the Ministry of University of Research and the Ministry of Made in Italy, which is basically the Ministry of Industry. Why drafting a national strategic plan? This is because you want to establish a collaboration with other European countries within the framework of general guidelines, which will basically harmonize all the effort in this field. And basically will be the preliminary step for the drafting of European a roadmap on development in quantum technologies. Going back. Okay. Let's see what is a snapshot of the research going on in this field, over the past few years. The research has been mainly carried on by the various universities of small and medium-sized groups, in particular theory, but most of the effort has been carried on by the National Research Agency, by the National Research Council, the National Space Agency, the National Institute of Nuclear Physics, of Astrophysics, and the Italian Institutes of Technologies. Okay, all these research centers have carried on research for various aspects and various either implementation platforms, or because they are interested in satellite communications or as sensing. So just before the pandemic, before the National Recovery Plan was launched, this is one of the places where the main bulk of research was carried on. On top of this, I should mention that a lot of research was carried on by medium and small-scale research groups all across the country. In the meanwhile, to foster collaborations between research agency and the universities, in Italy we have launched a national society on quantum science and technology. The idea of the society is again to collaborate on the one hand with the government, on the other hand with research institutes and with the universities to get a comprehensive, clear map of what's going on, and in order to, again, to help the ministry to draft such agenda. Okay, funded by the Recovery Fund, the European Recovery Fund, the government has funded basically two big initiatives which have basically given a strong impetus to research in Italy. On the one hand, the NQSTI, which is the National Institute, Quantum Science and Technology Institute. The scope of this institute is basically to carry on research on physical platforms. So there is research going on in implementations of quantum computing devices on atomic platforms, on photonic platforms, and so also looking at communications on the one hand. So basically they are experimentalist teams working in this National Institute together with theorists which basically support the theoretical work of support. On the other hand, another important initiative with the strong involvement of the National Institute of Nuclear Physics is the National Center for High Performance Computing and Big Data. The establishment of these two initiatives, in particular the establishment of the National Research Center is a foundation, the National Research Center for High Performance Computing, has basically fostered a lot of research by small companies. So over the past couple of years, the research landscape has changed dramatically, and with research which was previously done basically on the at academic level and in research institutes, basically also been carried on at private companies and in the public and the private sector. we are at the moment charting the Italian industrial landscape. Okay, the Minister of Made in Italy, and the Ministry of Industrial Research has basically helped us to collect information. There's been an open call for interest for companies which have got either research activities or got interest as end users of quantum technologies. And you can see here the figures, which are actually larger and would have been much smaller a couple of years ago, and the people working in, what you can see here are the main pillars of our national strategic plans, which are very much in line with the European pillars of the European strategic plan, in particular the past flagship. And the past flagship was the main source of funding of research in Italy over the past, let's say, 5 years. And now the National Recovery Plan has been the main funding source for the past 2 years. The National Recovery Plan will finish basically next year. So the idea is drafting the National Strategic Plan will help us to understand how to invest money and how to get a stronger involvement of the public sector and companies and industries in the field. As you can see, the numbers are rather actually large, because 43 companies have shown interest, and after these slides have been prepared, a few others have been involved. These companies range from big companies running utilities and like companies working in the finance sector or in the communication and in the energy sector, which have established their own research center and are end users of quantum algorithms. And on the other hand, there are smaller companies which are providing support for the development either quantum software or basically predicting, helping big companies in the prediction of, let's say, risk management, risk assessment, risk management, and also for support in the chemical industry and optimization of resources. Let's go on the hardware side and on companies and research going on in the implementation of physical platforms. In Naples, we just started last month, the first quantum computer is something it's a 25-qubit quantum computer, which is now being tested and should be fully operational within next year. And again, this has been done in collaboration with with Quantumware, which is a Dutch-Italian company. And the idea, the future plan, and the direction in which the National Strategic Plan is being drafted are the following. Here are the standard 5 pillars, as I mentioned, which are quantum computation, quantum simulation, communication, sensing and metrology. And the idea is that this research will go from the purely basic research to the more applied research. So we should, the guideline will be to move as rapidly as possible toward higher TRL level on the one hand. And the action will be to identify priorities and to coordinate our efforts at the European level, as I said, and also as a following step, also to foster collaboration between Italy and the other and the US or countries outside the European Union. I should be mentioned that there is a strong interest now also from the venture capital, which are scouting for companies. So on the one hand, again, there is a mapping of the research activities beside the one which is carried on by the ministry, also from the Polytechnic of Milan on the one hand. And this is helping in managing and directing private investment of venture capital into medium and small scale companies in Italy. And so the idea is that by next year, we will have but by the end of this year, we should have this strategic plan being drafted. So hopefully the next edition of this World Conference will have a clearer plan and a clearer map on where private investors or foreign investors might invest in Italy, and have a better definition, a clearer idea what the Italian ecosystem will be in order to, on the one hand, establish the national strategic plan, and on the other, to, how to cooperate outside Italy and outside the European Union. Thank you.